I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
You won't know what hit you. Well, of course, Chuck Schumer is not going to do anything, right? Gets up there, gets the crowd pumped up, gives a little speech. Hey, these guys are going to end democracy. You don't know what's going to hit you. Anyway, back to my office. Except somebody, an armed communist, just went to Brett Kavanaugh's house last night with a knife and a gun and pepper spray and flat out announced his intent when he was caught to kill Brett Kavanaugh. Chuck Schumer speaks. The street communists at the bottom act. Over and over and over and over again. I could do a 3-hour show tonight on all the politically motivated violence that has taken place against the right in just the past 4 or 5 years, over and over and over again. Why does this keep happening? Well, the top and the bottom, they want it to happen. Remember, Jen Psaki, when she was press secretary, she was asked about the addresses of these justices being leaked, and now there's protests in front of their homes, and here's what she said.
So I know that there's an outrage right now, I guess, about protests that have been peaceful to date, and we certainly continue to encourage that outside of judges' homes, and that's the president's position.
We encourage that outside of judges' homes, except here's the thing, that's against the law. Now, we don't have a legal system in this country that goes after Democrats ever, so they're allowed to say that. I mean, the FBI is busy twiddling its thumbs. They're staking out you at the school board, so they're not going to worry about Democrats standing up behind the podium and encouraging people to break the law. It is against the law to try to intimidate judges. So why did she do it? Why does this stuff keep on happening? Well, let's not dance around it. I know you've seen all kinds of things today. You've seen so many people on TV, on the radio. How many times have you heard this today? If this happened to a Republican, if it was a Republican outside of a Sotomayor's house, they'd be talking about this endlessly. You've heard this over and over and over all day about the hypocrisy. Hypocrisy, the media is hypocrites. The Democrats are hypocrites. You've heard it endlessly, right? I know you have. Probably I can see you sitting there nodding your head. Oh, yeah. It misses the mark. It totally misses the mark when we say things like this. We've been trained wrongly on the right to believe that that's conservatism. Pointing out the hypocrisy of the communists, we think that's what conservative activism is. That does nothing. Let's start talking about real hard truths. The media, they don't do what they do, ignore what they ignore, and cover what they cover because they're hypocrites. Democrats don't encourage this and discourage that because they're hypocrites. The street communists, they don't ignore this, yet go hurt this person because they're hypocrites. They do this because they believe you should die for what you believe. They have no problem with your death. None. Some of them actively want it. Some are just passively okay with it. But because you, in their mind, you are a heretic to their religion. They are trying to reshape the world in the name of their God, their evil, demonic, communist God. And anyone who stands in the way of that is a heretic. They either actively want you to die, or in the very least, they're okay with it. The media doesn't do what they do. Democrats don't do what they do. The street communists don't do what they do because they're hypocrites. They do it because they want you to die.